Good morning, friends. Anne here, got my cup of coffee, got the Word of God, and today's reading is from James chapter 2, verses 12 through 13. This week, we are focused on the beatitude that says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy." And so we are going to dig into James chapter 2 and see what James has to tell us about mercy today. Speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom, because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. Mercy triumphs over judgment. So, one of the things that is confusing to me about this verse is this phrase, by the law that gives freedom. Actually, this is not the first time that James uses this term. As a matter of fact, in chapter 1 and verse 25, it says this, "But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he has heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does." What is this perfect law that gives freedom? Well, usually when we think about the law, we think back to the Old Testament and we think about all of the laws and the rules and the regulations that God provided for his people in order to help them live holy and set apart lives from the community and the culture around them. He wanted to make sure that they were holy, that they were honoring him, that they were living for him and living in his ways. But we know over and over again in the Old Testament, we see examples of the fact that they didn't do that. As a matter of fact, they were judged very harshly, and that law did not bring freedom, which is why Christ came. Christ came and ushered in a new law. This was not a law that required judgment and condemnation because of our failures. This law was the law of love, of grace, and of mercy. Friends, this is the law that gives freedom. Christ is the law that gives freedom. So if we read it again, understanding a little bit more about what that means, speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom, by the gift that Jesus gives. Because judgment without mercy will be shown to anyone who has not been merciful. The reality is that if Jesus is this perfect law that gives us freedom, he doesn't judge us. In John, he says, "I have not come to condemn the world, but to save the world." Friends, Jesus didn't come to judge us. He didn't come to condemn us. He came to love us. Love us to the end, to the death on the cross, so that by believing in him, we might be free. Friends, if you and I have received so great a mercy from Christ, so great a love, so much grace, who are we to then not extend that to other people? Because the reality is there is a cycle of mercy. That from someone who has received so much mercy, I need to be someone who gives so much mercy. And when I give so much mercy, then my heart is changed and I'm able to receive even more mercy. And the mercy and the grace and the love just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And we find ourselves living in true freedom. Friends, if you want mercy, show mercy. Because mercy always triumphs over judgment. Have a good day.